Cabo Verde, a tropical archipelago off the coast of Africa. With rugged mountains, green valleys and arid deserts. An exotic island paradise set amid the Atlantic. In the northeast of the islands is Sal, an island of both wind and sunshine. A strange and exciting world with little tourism. A volcanic lunar landscape. Espagos, the island's somewhat unglamorous capital, is located in the center of the island and extends beneath Monte Carral Hill. At first sight, its church buildings do not appear to be influenced by either Europe or Africa. Originally, this place was uninhabited and served simply as a pasture land until the 17th century. Later, African slaves were settled here, and it was they who built the island's most important church, the Igreja Nazarena. It was the time of the slave trade when the demand for salt and livestock was beginning to grow. The island soon started to develop. Ships laid anchor and their captains acquired livestock and salt on their return journey to Europe. The main section of the island is like a plain, brown moonscape, dusty and arid. It's known as Desert Island, surrounded by the powerful Atlantic. Pedrolume on the east coast now looks almost like a ghost town, with the rusty remains of cargo ships and the wooden skeletons of industrial buildings scattered across the countryside. Each one a remnant of the former kingdom of King's Salt, in which the white gold determined everyday life. The relentless sun created it, namely the Salina Pedrolume, and a history that spans more than 150 years. On the other side of the island, Palmira, otherwise known as Pedrolume, is Sal's most important port, from which the whole of the island's maritime trade is handled. Here too, tourism is beginning to appear, and the villagers are excited about new business opportunities. Amazing how the endless fields of red-brown boulders with no vegetation slowly transform as they get nearer to the sea. As with Baía de Fontana Bay, close to Palmira. The rock basins of Buracona are located on the coast. Where wild foaming waves roll noisily into naturally formed pools. Santa Maria lies at the extreme southern tip of the island. An oasis in the Atlantic, as the former fishing village is known. Numerous restaurants and shops await visitors, but again, it's a place little affected by tourism. But it's beginning to happen. Where locals bathe and nowadays fishing boats anchor was once a bustling trading centre for salt. The strong trade winds made Santa Maria a paradise for both wind and kite surfers alike, a hot spot for water sports. A place of secret dreams. Santiago lies in the south, the largest island in the archipelago. Here, the Portuguese, as the first settlers, set up a military station. The family genes and traditions of two continents have produced a population with various characteristics of both culture and lifestyle. Located on the southern tip is Praia, capital of the island and also the headquarters of the Cabo Verde government. The magnificent presidential palace is clearly the center of local government. Today, it's the domicile of the president. The Palace of Justice is a reminder of the independence of the former Portuguese colony. And the orange-colored town hall is well lit. The nearby market is full of African flair, its abundant supply of produce being the finest in the entire archipelago. Located west of the capital is an imposing fortress situated on the rocky plains of Ribeira Grande, the Fortaleza Real de São Filipe. Built during Spanish rule, it was designed to protect against pirate raids. Below the fortress lies Cidade Velha, the old town and the place in which Cabo Verde's history began. It was once a trading post for slaves from the African mainland, as well as being the first major settlement of Europe's colonial states overseas, with the oldest colonial church in the world dating back to 1555 AD. The Rua da Banana contains low-built, elongated stone houses which are covered with straw. The ruins of the São Francisco Church is where the first Franciscan monks who came here set about Christianizing the local African slaves. Until Queen Mary dissolved the monasteries. Volcanic landscapes covered in herbs abound with fertile spaces. Two volcanic mountain ranges of lava dominate the structure of the island. In the middle of the island is Assomara, a rather quiet, small town in a sheltered and strategic position. The weekly market transforms the image of the city. Traders are to be seen everywhere, seemingly ad hoc all over the city. It's a vibrant place. North of Assomara, the street winds up to Serra Maragueta, a craggy mountain landscape. Wild and unspoiled nature, often cloaked in mist, and after the rainy season, covered in a soft green fur. The up to 1,000-meter high mountains are a splendid sight. the east coast is mostly deserted and uncultivated. Thus, it looks romantic and magical at the same time, almost a foreign world. And yet, people once settled here, isolated and with their own laws. These were the Rebelados, to whom a private museum village is now dedicated. Politically persecuted, they retreated to this difficult-to-access location. Near to Charbon on the northwest coast is an infamous former concentration camp, which has now been declared a national monument. As a museum of resistance against fascism, it's a reminder of its multiple uses as a prison camp. Opponents of Portugal's Salazar regime and resistance fighters from the African colonies were once imprisoned here. Further north is Tarrafal, with its small, semicircular bay and white, sandy beach occupied by fishing boats and bathers. Judging by the number of coconut palms that line the beach, Bahia Verde gives the impression of being in the Caribbean. It's a sleepy place situated on a small plateau. Its inhabitants live on fishing and tourism. They adore their island paradise. São Vicente, a center of culture. This small location north of the city consists of Mindelo, rocky coasts, and red-brown mountains. The harbour determines life on the small North Island. Here live the majority of the island's population. The pink-coloured presidential palace of Portuguese design is the president's place of residence when he visits the island. The foundation stone for the large old market hall was laid in 1878. The islands offer many kinds of fresh food, as well as products from around the world. Colourful mansions are reminiscent of the heyday of the original city. Explorer Diego Alfonso would not have dreamed that one day the port would become a large maritime coal storage depot. Indeed, the first overseas telephone cable was laid through it. Since its establishment, the fish market is still a popular meeting place, especially with the local women. Close by is the symbol of the city, a replica of the Torre de Belém in Lisbon, a mighty watchtower. Beyond the city is a world of mountains. The view from above is overwhelming, a reddish-brown backdrop of rubble and stones, and Mindeiro's natural harbour that determines the daily lives of the islanders. Originally, Monteverde rightly deserved its name. Everything was green, and maize, potatoes, and beans grew here. But then came the devastating Sahel droughts. The fertile landscape became a stony desert. Life changed, but nature gradually adapted to it. The stormy Atlantic continues to blow its thunderous waves against the rocky west coast. The small fishing village of Sao Pedro is set in a favorable location. Well protected by the foothills of volcanic mountains and the sea, a few pastel-colored cottages form the village. Life here is peaceful and more demanding than in the nearby town. Despite its hardships and tragic history, Cabo Verde is now a carefree place at peace with itself. Some stray to the eastern side of the island. The geologically young Viana volcano is located about 3 kilometers south of the small fishing village of Callao. However, it's rather dull and lifeless. The rocky floor of the caldera is tranquil now, but the power of the natural world has well and truly made its mark here. Red-hot lava once spewed from this volcano. Ash and rock rained down upon the vineyards, orchards, and fields. Now the romantic sunset reveals the scenic beauty. With the regular ferry from São Vicente, the most northwesterly island is easily accessible. Santo Antão, an island of mountains, wind and water. Cabo Verde's second largest island. Next, the harbour of Porto Novo. In the harbour, a statue of a woman appears to be bidding farewell to her husband. With colourful fishing boats on the black, sandy beach right up to the quay. It's quite lively when the ferry's in, with the men playing cards and board games. Between modern concrete blocks are a number of buildings in colonial style, painted in soft pastel colours. But few visitors stop for long on the south side of the island. The crossing of the momentous centre of the island beckons, and a real adventure begins. Santo Antão's most important route is a road over the high mountains. The colossal mountain scenery becomes even more impressive, and between the craggy mountains are green, meandering valleys. Suddenly appears Corvo de Paul, an impressive collapsed crater which is situated 1,170 meters above sea level. diameter of its caldera measures about 800 meters. Even here, the fertile volcanic earth has been put to good use with terraced fields. The road continues. The sight of the Paul Valley takes the breath away. The deep-cut valley shines out in luscious green. It's mainly sugarcane that's grown here. Few people live in these small settlements, and their houses are built much like those in the mountains. A fertile paradise, even though nature here often presents itself as wild and inaccessible. Santo Antão distilled the finest groga in the whole archipelago, a strong liquor, clear as water. In so-called groga mills, sugarcane is produced. The pure syrup is collected in containers, and for around 5 days is stored in barrels to ferment, and then distilled. Until it's suitable to drink. The road leading to the coast was actually only completed in 2008, an undulating route between cliffs and within deep valleys. And along the road, several small settlements appear, clinging like glue to the hillsides. Finally, the valley opens up and the proud Ribeira Grande appears on the narrow coast. Despite many structural changes, the center of the city has managed to retain its charm. Narrow lanes and a bumpy pavement, and colonial houses with colorful facades. The northernmost location is Ponta do Sol and its prominent Catholic church. The magnificent town hall is a reminder of the small town's importance. Since the founding of Porto Novo, the port only seems to belong to the local fishermen. It is here where the real life takes place. The fresh catch is taken by the women, the colorful array of fish being offered immediately for sale. The round trip ends in the idyllic Vila das Pompas, despite its modest appearance, a picturesque sight. The city hall is also located here, as a past mansion of colonial times, and the local people work on the sugarcane plantations and in fruit and vegetable production. A peaceful atmosphere, hard to believe of an island set amid the Atlantic Ocean. Great explorers once sailed by here, where fishing and salt defined the islanders' lives. All around, volcanic mountains, desert landscapes and tropical valleys. Each island is unique, and each has its special charm. Cabo Verde, islands of light and beauty.